Hi, my name is Javier. I retired at 54 years old and currently living in Playa del Carmen.
Hey, Gen Max, you just met Javier, as he said, and he is living here in Playa del Carmen, and he's living a little ways back from the beach. I've got some other interviews that are closer to the beach, but we're going to talk about living in Playa del Carmen, choosing to live in Mexico, and specifically in a town like Playa del Carmen, which is more of a tourist town than somewhere like La Paz or, Guadalajara, something like that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the places he's lived, including this apartment here, and we'll talk about retiring early and whether he speaks Spanish, kind of everything you want to know about Javier's life. We're about to discuss that, including his own YouTube channel. So let's get to meet Javier and go back to, 53, 54 years old, where he's still working before moving to Playa del Carmen, and kind of hear where his story starts.
So basically, I immigrated from Cuba in the 1980 with my whole family, and we moved to New York. We lived there for 28 years. I became a registered nurse in New York, worked in New York for about 18 years. And then we decided to move to Orlando, Florida. And I worked there as a nurse as well for 14 years. And my last job was working at the Morris Hospital. It's a children's hospital. I was there a radiology nurse. I always wanted to retire early because to enjoy life. I always had only one job. A lot of people will tell me, you only work 6 days out of 2 weeks. Why don't you get another job? And for me, that was a good thing. I wanted to have my time, my free time, and to enjoy my life. And so I decided to retire early. And so I saved enough money to do that.
So Javier and I were chatting earlier, and we kind of, when he retired originally, he was still living in Orlando. He hadn't moved to Mexico yet. And I think it's an interesting part of the story. So I'm going to have him talk about that too.
So basically, when I retired in 2021, I was living with a girlfriend. She's younger than me, and she wasn't ready to retire. She had 2 kids. So I was with her for about 5 years. And the situation was that since I was retired, I wanted to travel and to live in Mexico. So we made an arrangement where we lived 3 months in Mexico and then 1 month in Orlando, Florida. At the beginning, she kind of said yes to it, but then she didn't want to do that. And so I said, okay, so I'm going to live with you for 3 months, and then I'll live 1 month in Mexico, or travel around the world for that whole month. But the situation got to a point where she didn't even want me to do that anymore. So I just decided to break the relationship. I mean, I liked her very much. I guess I loved her as well, but I wanted to live my life. And sometimes you need to do what you have to do to look for yourself and for your happiness.
Okay, so now Javier is single and moving wherever he wants is possible, and he chose Playa del Carmen. So let's hear a little bit about why Playa del Carmen.
Basically, Playa del Carmen just because coming from Cuba, even though I didn't really knew many beaches in Cuba, I'm from the Caribbean, and I love the Caribbean Sea. It's different from the west side here in Mexico. I had traveled quite a bit in Mexico. I had gone from Mazatlan all the way down to Huatulco. I visited all those beaches, and even though it's beautiful there as well, the color of the sea here is amazing. Even though we do have a sargasso problem sometimes. Anyway, I just love it here. I also chose Playa del Carmen just because it's very close to a lot of beautiful places. You're close to Cancun, which is only an hour from here, maybe less, and also to Puerto Morelo, which is a very small village, which is also very beautiful there. And I'm close also to Tulum, close to Valladolid, to Merida. It's about 3 hours car ride, maybe three and a half. And so there is a lot of things to do, lots of cenotes around, and also because of the weather, even though it gets hot, I prefer this hot weather than living in New York, which is very cold.
Yeah, and actually, so I live on the West Coast, and it's on the Pacific Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean is so much colder than the Atlantic, and just being here on the Caribbean, it is just... I walked down the beach yesterday. There was some sargasso, which we don't have on the Pacific coast, but the water was so much warmer and everyone was playing in the water, and it really was enjoyable to walk down the beach where it's getting a little bit chilly. The water's a little chilly over on the Pacific side. But let's get back to Javier and talk about the places that he's lived. He's lived in a couple different places, so we'll give you an idea of what things cost in different parts of Playa del Carmen.
Yes, when I first came here, I came with my brother. We rented a place near the Hyatt Hotel. It's around, I believe, 8th Street and 1st. So it's one street below 5th Avenue. It's very close to the beach. It's by Mamita's Beach Club. There we were paying around $1,000. It was quite expensive, but not as bad because I was paying $500. My brother was paying $500. Then after that, I moved to a place actually maybe 20 minutes from here. It was also away from the beach, passing the highway, the Highway Federal. And that was paying there 10,000 pesos or 9,500 pesos, which is about 500, depending on the rate. $500, 560. It was bigger than this place that I'm currently living right now. I also stay in another place, also close on 10th Avenue and 6th Street. And that place was $800. It was for a one bedroom. And it was about the size of this. So it's quite expensive if you want to live in the center of the city. But anyway, it doesn't, I mean, if you just take transportation from here to, if you take the Colectivo, which is only 50 cents in dollars, it takes you maybe 25 minutes to get to the center of Playa del Carmen or to the beach.
So, or you can take a taxi. Taxis are the way that everyone gets around here. There's not Uber here. I heard there's InDrive or Drive. I took a taxi from down near the beach, and it was about $5, and it seems like that was maybe a little bit high. So $3 if you want to take a taxi, $4 maybe, or 50 cents if you take a Colectivo down to the beach. So, and once you get down there, very, very walkable area. I don't know much about this neighborhood, so let's hear about this neighborhood and also specifically about the house that he's living in now.
Basically, I live in Catalunya 2. It's a place where there is no tourists here. It's all Mexican. Mainly the people that live here are Mexican. There's a few tourists. There's a few people who are foreigners, but very, very, very few. The place is quite nice. It's clean. We have many parks around. I mean, around maybe within 5 blocks, you have like 3 or 4 parks. So it's quite nice. It's quiet. For Mexico, it's pretty quiet. Usually people here don't play their music loud, and they respect other people's the way they live. So right now, currently, I'm living in this one bedroom house. It's about 34 square meters, which is quite small. The rent here is 4,600 pesos, which is about $230 per month. And it's cheap because currently living with my Mexican girlfriend here. She has been living here for about 5 years. So the rent hasn't gone up. Usually this place around here will go for 7,000 to 8,000 pesos. So basically it's just one bedroom, living room, small kitchen, a little patio where I have 2 dogs. And that's basically it. It's very comfortable for me. I love it because I can just clean the house in maybe 20 minutes. And it's very comfortable here.
Hey, really quick break in here. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, I would love it if you did that. That would be wonderful. Just click the subscribe button down below, the little bell icon to get notifications. That'd be super, super wonderful. Also, check out Javier's YouTube channel. There'll be a link to his channel down below, and subscribe to his channel over there. A lot of stuff from his travels or from Playa del Carmen. So beautiful things. Check those out. And now let's get back to the interview. Okay, you guys know I like to get personal, so let's hear how Javier met his Mexican girlfriend.
I met my Mexican girlfriend about 2 years ago. We met in Parque Fundadores. You gotta see it. It's the nicest park in here. It's iconic to Playa del Carmen. And they were having free salsa lessons there. And she was coming from Cozumel because that's where the ferry stops as well. And I was there with my brother, and she started also wanted to learn how to dance salsa, me as well. I know how to dance a little bit, so we started dancing, and that's how we met. And after a year of dating, we moved together.
So Javier's girlfriend is working today, so he's got someone who works. So I want to know how to spend time here as a foreigner living in Playa del Carmen.
So basically, regular day here for me would be like around 6 a.m. in the morning. because I go play tennis around 7:45 a.m. There's a Deportivo, which is by bike, takes me about 10 minutes. And they have tennis courts, and we play there until around from 7 to 9:30, sometimes to 10 a.m. And then from there, I come home, I take a shower, I clean the house a little bit. Here in Mexico, things get dirty really fast. There is a lot of dust, and so you basically have to sweep the floor daily, and especially with dogs. There's a lot of hair, and so you have to always be on top of it.
For those of you who watch the channel a lot know about my story. We have a Roomba that goes around that is constantly cleaning the floor, and we also have puppies. So if I've got that video, it'll be over here, I think. Puppies and Roombas don't always mix well. That's your preview, but let's get back to Javier's day.
Basically, you know, after I play tennis, which I play probably like 4 to 5 days per week, my days is practically for myself. My girlfriend doesn't get here until like maybe 8:30 at night. So usually I just take the dogs out to the park, go to the beach. I like to go to Fifth Avenue here, just to sit down, have a beer, and see people walking. I mean, that's amazing. And just go to the beach as well. So actually, that's basically it. Then I come back home, I fix dinner. I love to cook, pretty good cook, I guess. And so I prepare her dinner, and we have dinner, and then we probably watch some TV, and then we go to bed. That's basically it. We do also travel quite a bit here in Mexico. Last year we went to Chiapas, we went to Querétaro, and also to San Miguel de Allende. Also we went to Mexico City. So we keep busy, you know. On weekends there's a lot of festival here in Playa del Carmen. There's always something coming up. Now the carnivals are coming. Unfortunately, I won't be, well, I will see some of the carnival, but I'm traveling to France March 3rd.
Well, it sounds like we have similar travel schedules. Actually, I was just recently in Querétaro and San Miguel de Allende. So if I've got videos from those, it'll be up in the corner. So you can check out those places. Really awesome places. Also Mexico City, also France. So wonderful. I haven't been to France recently, but also a wonderful place. So it sounds like a good travel schedule. So let's talk about expenses, just kind of generally what his budget looks like, and also about healthcare.
So basically my budget is about, I would say $900 to $1,000 per month. Of course, just my daily living here. Putting traveling together, it would be like $1,500 per month. I have a private insurance here with a Mexican company. It's called Plan Seguro. I pay $119 per month for that insurance. It's an insurance basically for big things. Doesn't really cover your doctors to see or any specialist to go and see, which is very cheap here. To see a specialist like a surgeon, which I have the unfortunate problem that I have umbilical hernia, and I need to have it repaired. So the surgeon cost was only $48 for his visit. For an ultrasound was $40. For my blood work was like $35 just to get all that stuff together for my surgery. I'm going to have surgery this Monday coming on the 17th. And the whole surgery cost $1,700 so 37,000 pesos, which is quite cheap compared to the States. I think the same surgery will cost in the States, it will be about $35,000, around that.
So you can see how affordable things are. And you mentioned that the insurance was more like a catastrophic insurance. So let's see if insurance is paying for any of that.
So basically the insurance has a deductible of about, I want to say like $1,300. And then after that, it will cover the rest. And since this surgery is only $1,700, they hardly, are going to have to pay most of it. As Brighton said, it's a catastrophic insurance. So if you're in the hospital, let's say for maybe 5 days, 7 days, or even longer, then the insurance will pay, it will pay most of it. Because if it's calendar year, I already pay my premium or my deductible, then if I have another event within the same year, they will cover most of it. Or all of it. So it's actually a good deal for $119 per month, I think. It's much cheaper than the States, obviously. And and so I have that insurance just for, and also when I travel, it covers like about $50,000 as a travel insurance as well. So it's a really good medical insurance and cheap.
As you mentioned, that was Plan Seguro, and I'll have a link down to that down below so you can learn more about that. But I also want to know about the hospitals, the medical care here from a registered nurse's perspective from the States. What is it? How do you compare the care that you get in these two places?
Basically, I haven't gone to a hospital yet. I will be on Monday, so I can give you an update about it. But the hospital looks very nice. I had an ultrasound done previously before this ultrasound that I have for my abdominal wall, and only cost me like $35 for the ultrasound. And that was done in Salud Digna. Salud Digna is a clinic here, the Quintana Road, which is for Mexican people and for whoever wants to go there, and it's super cheap. And the attention that they give you is top-notch, comparable to any in the States. Also, when I went for my blood work, it was also very professional. I would say like the same or better, just because you're not paying so much for it. But it's top-notch. I would say it's top-notch. So far with the ultrasound blood work that I had done is great.
Okay, because Javier is doing that surgery really soon. It'll happen before this video is released, even though we're recording this now. So let's jump forward to future Javier. He said he would record something for us. So here is Javier post-surgery.
Hey, Brighton, just to give you an update about my surgery. Everything went very well. The hospital is it's amazing, and the staff is very professional. Everything clean, best. Compared to the USA, I would say this is it's up there, maybe a little bit better. Good luck, my friend.
So there we go. I don't know what he just said, so hopefully it was something good. Otherwise, he will have given you, he seems like a real straight shooter, told you exactly what his experience was in the Mexican hospital. But now let's come back here to Javier today and get his tip, like one tip he has, top tip for someone who is thinking about retiring early and moving to Mexico.
So the biggest tip that I have is to, during your working years, to be frugal, meaning not to spend money on things that are not necessary, and to just save money, put it on your 401k as much as possible. Try to do that because in the state, they don't teach you how to save money. Actually, they don't, in school, they don't teach you about retirement, which is a big part of your life. And a lot of people they don't know how to save. So the biggest thing for me would be for you to start saving as much as you can in an early age, and you'll see that money will grow significantly. Yes, that one thing, instead of like eating outside, like having breakfast, and like my coworkers at work will come in with a big Starbucks coffee, and it was like $8. And then for lunch, they'll go to chicken fillet. And that was like, I don't know, like I had no idea, like maybe $12, $13, $15. And then they said, I don't have money. I said, well, you don't have money because you're spending like every day, you're spending like $30. That's not even, if you put that money away, you'll see that you will save a lot of money. And it's just a simple thing, be frugal, not to be cheap, because you can have the same quality of life or even better by not spending money on things that you really don't need. I mean, you don't need 20 shoes or 20 shirts or whatever it is. I mean, you can live simply and happy. For me, the less I have, the happier I am. I don't have to worry about people coming in and stealing things, because I don't really have things to be, I don't think people will want an old TV or things like that. So for me, it's just the experience of going and traveling, knowing different cultures. So yeah, that will be my tip. Just save as much as possible. Also, learn a habit, something that you can, once you retire, learn a sport that you like, things to keep you busy, like fishing. I do like fishing. I do go fishing. I'm trying to do underwater fishing. So let's see how that goes. So just learning like something for you to do once you retire. And that's basically it.
So that is a great tip, especially if you've got a couple of years left before you retire. And actually, I just did an interview with another couple in La Paz. And if that one's ready, it's going to be up here on the screen. They're part of the FIRE movement, financially independent, retire early. So the idea is really save those nickels and dimes so that you, for the express purpose of retiring early. So check that video out next. Otherwise, I've got more videos from Playa del Carmen if they're available. From Playa del Carmen, wish you were here. Hasta luego.